Okay, apparently no intro. I'm getting used to Mike's setup here. Does he run it manually?
I don't know. No idea. That's
um, yeah, this show of Hot Topic is brought to you by Goon Tape. Go to goontape.com and use promo code ANTIHERO15. Save 15% on that Goon Tape for your weapons, sports, injuries. You can use Goon Tape for pretty much anything. It's like hockey tape on steroids. Go to goontape.com. Use promo code ANTIHERO15. Save 15%. Dominic,
yeah, dude.
I was looking for the intro. I still don't see it, so I'm in Mike's StreamYard.
I have no answers for you. I just I'm along for the ride when he's there.
All right. I put it in our Patreon that I was filling in for him today. Mike is on a cruise. If you guys didn't know, I'm filling in and I'm fucking super stoked. But I told Patreon I'm a little nervous because I've never done a one-on-one with Dominick Izzo before in my life.
Afraid of, man. I don't bite.
Well, it's one of those things, dude.
I choke, I hair pull, I slap, I'll spit in your mouth. No, I won't. I'm gag.
It's one of those things, dude. I mean, I'm not blowing smoke, I promise. But when you highly respect someone that has a lot more experience than you, it's intimidating to go in any opposition with them. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's kind of like,
okay.
I don't know. I'm not used to feeling like this. I feel like I'm interviewing one of my heroes. Every time you pop up in my timeline, I'm like, there he is, man. The guy just fucking sticking it to the world. Doesn't even care.
We have never met. We don't know each other that well. And we've just been in the process of last year getting to know each other. But where I knew I was like, okay, I could talk to this guy was going through the journey of the people over in that foreign country war that is now being fought that we're involved in. And I'm like, oh, I could talk to this man. He's open-minded.
Oh yeah. It was definitely eye-opening when you taught us about Zionism and all that stuff. So, but today, we are going to piss some people off.
Fucking what day of the week is it where it isn't I pissing people off? I just, I'll have to say, for those of you who get pissed off very easily, grow a spine. One of my friends who I worked with was my partner when I was a cop, my last department, sent me a meme yesterday. Didn't tell me where he sent it from. And it was of the two females training. One is doing the Charlie's Angel, and they're look like they're clearing a room. They're about to enter a room. And somebody had written skills and tactics, and the arrow pointing to one room and 30 by 30 going into that room. I didn't want to steal the meme, but I thought it was a great idea. So I wrote qualified police officers, arrow going to that room, and 30 by 30 that one. Today, I see somebody sends me that the original poster of the meme, side by side, put our memes and claimed that I stole his meme. And he says, when angry little elves steal your meme. And number one, I changed the wording. Number two, shit happens all the time. I couldn't give a shit, is what it is. So I sat there and I shared one of his memes on my stuff, and I said, follow so-and-so. He needs attention. He's not getting it. And apparently it's a cop page, all this stuff. Such a very, very thick-skinned cop or whoever runs it that they blocked me.
They blocked you over it,
You guys are fucking pussies out there. Oh, when, and that kind of leads in to my topic for whatever reason. I get, and we're going to talk about like Bjj Gay and whatever, of which I don't have an ounce of experience in. And I all the time noticed anytime I put up any videos of me doing my training, I have been wrestling and doing Wing Chun since 1988. I started wrestling in 1988, started Wing Chun in 1996. So 30 years for one and nearly 40 years for the other. And it doesn't matter what I put up. If you're ever involved in traditional martial arts, it's always political. The Wing Chun community is one of the shittiest martial arts group on the planet. I don't fuck with them. My group is small. Oh God, I hate it. They're all political. If anybody's ever seen the Ip Man movies,
Yep.
There's like 5 of them. That's not Wing Chun. That is bullshit. It's cookie cutter, movie, flashy Jackie Chan shit. It is not Wing Chun. But that's what the world thinks it is. And I understand that. It's been that reputation for years. Years ago, when Robert Downey Jr. came out and said he was doing Wing Chun, we're like, yeah, this is going to really fucking do something for our field industry. Did nothing. But I get that people have a bad taste in their mouth over it. The only fucking losers I've ever seen criticize me has always been BJJ guys. That's it. It's always that. It's like when I was a cop and I was still teaching tactics that were based off of wrestling Wing Chun, and somebody was like, hey, I got Hapkido, which was for decades the essential, there was the base for what they taught police tactics on. Then Aikido, I never shit on them. But for some strange reason, BJJ seems to be the only group that shits on other martial artists. So I ask a question. Simply this. If BJJ has been for the last 20 years, like the foundation for police training, and everybody says it's the cat's ass, why is it that we've seen more bad use of force and cops who can't control people worse shit on the street if we've been doing more BJJ out there?
Do you think it's because we're demonizing the human instinct to fight? That being said, BJJ has been known to look nicer. It looks good. It looks smooth. It doesn't look like it hurts. And I think the humane way of dealing with something is fighting. And so when people don't know they're not taught how to fight, or they're demonized for throwing a fist, but they also don't go learn a martial arts, they have nothing. So when I was a cop for 10 years, I just relied on looking like a hard target, looking like somebody that you didn't want to mess with. And then if I had to, I just had to rely on essentially human instinct. But if you're not, and I came in around 2016, so it was still kind of taught, as long as you scream, stop resisting my control, you can pretty much do what you want.
You're beating the shit out of somebody else.
Yeah. Whether that's right or wrong, I was at least taught something to do. And people aren't even taught that's bad now. So they don't have that. And of course, the people that are coming in don't have that instinct, period. And then they're not even training anything. So they have nothing to offer when there's a resisting suspect. I mean, nothing, not even the mag light, nothing.
Cops are notorious for not training. I used to be part of Halligan's combat training, which was the first company that I was involved with for teaching law enforcement tactics. And we were part of NEMRT, which was Northeast Regional Multi-Training for the Northwest Illinois area. And I hated teaching defensive tactics. At first, I thought I was dying to get on this. Danny was my first teacher for Wing Chun. I was like, this is awesome. I want to be a part of this group. And then we started training. We had 2 camps we used to do all the time. We specifically taught law enforcement control tactics. And then we taught a spinoff for just females only. The women sucked, because you'd go into a group of women and none of them, not one, had the mindset of, no, that's a fucking lie. I met a 6'2", 250-pound female. It was the only one I'm ever like, holy shit, no one's going to fuck with you, because she came from corrections first. And she was a badass. But everybody else, you'd walk in, and I used to say it all the time, ladies, how many of you know for certain you could take me into custody by yourself? And it showed mindset. They were all like, no.
Oh,
and that was the point. The point should have been, your mindset should be, if I walk into a room, I don't care if it's filled with 10 BJJ black belts and everybody who's related to Steven Seagal, not one of you motherfuckers is walking out of here. That's how my mindset is. Mm-hmm. Whatever happens, happens. When it went to the men, anybody who ever teaches cops knows cops show up to a defensive tactics class, not to learn, but to show you what they know.
Mm-hmm.
And all the fucking, it was a waste of time. Waste of fucking time.
Yep. And do you think that females, and I could get behind this, the one thing that should be different in training is the fact, do you think if females acknowledge the fact that I am smaller, I have no testosterone compared to men, and I am biologically not going to be able to fight like a man, do you think defensive tactics for female officers is a good idea rather than just overall defensive tactics?
It has to, for a specific reason. anatomically, female's humerus is longer than ours. That's the point from your shoulder to your elbow. You're going to have a different leverage point on that. Longer bicep. You're not going to be as strong. Their center of gravity is higher than ours. So when you're teaching a female putting in the legs or riding the legs wrestling, her center of gravity, and she may look like she's high, she may be higher than she is because her center of gravity is off. So there's, anatomically speaking, there are two different camps. I've never, and it just goes back to guys never take training seriously. I've offered this all the time. I flex my time between Sacramento and California. I am an expert in defensive tactics, and I've said 708-982-0974. 708-982-0974. I will give an 8-hour free clinic to any police department that surrounds Chicago and surrounds Sacramento for free anytime they want. Been offering it for years. Nobody takes it up on it. You look at the BJJ. I think BJJ Cops is another one. He offers stuff all the time, and people barely take him up on it free. It's like cops do not want to train, but for some strange fucking reason, whenever it comes down to training, it's the BJJ. I just don't like their attitude and how they shit on other arts. Well, we're BJJ. We're the greatest. You're not. You're not, dude. It's
well, yeah. I mean, I feel like BJJ is kind of gives us the cultish CrossFit vibes, where
yes,
a CrossFitter might tell you every other type of physical fitness is not as good as CrossFit. And that's kind of a joke, but I get the same vibe as BJJ. And let me tell you something else that's really defines how BJJ is kind of bullshit, right? Or just just the average type of martial arts. It is not superior. And here's why. BJJ, from what I understand, just like any other martial art used to be before it was a money-making machine, used to be you didn't get anything you didn't earn. And it took a long time to earn stuff. So, and here's the thing. When I see Susan, the soccer mom down the cul-de-sac on Facebook, just got her brown belt, I know that shit's full of fucking shit. I know it is, because here, as a business, you have to be able to give people things. People that aren't dedicated to the cause are not going to stick around for 8 years to go 2 belts up. They're just not. They're going to want immediate gratification.
Americans, yes.
Yeah. So I look at how it's become such a staple in, I don't want to say American culture, but I mean, it kind of has been. You see all these celebrities doing it. And I'm not taking away. Some of them are probably great, and martial artists. But when everybody in the country is doing it, it can't be that hard. And when I say that hard, I don't mean it's not hard, or I don't mean it's not challenging. It cannot be the superior martial art when everybody in the fucking country is doing it.
And here's my problem. And it's not that it's ineffective. That was never my argument. I don't know it. If somebody uses BJJ against me, it's going to be effective. I better be at the top of what I'm doing. The problem I have is every time that we look at my martial art works, and it's in my comment section like crazy with that. Go to a BJJ school, and then you'll be humbled. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. Now we're talking about going into a controlled environment where I've got gi or no gi, no shoes, on a mat, probably sized up with somebody who is, my size or whatnot. And we're going to go over the techniques. If you do that with boxing, you do the same thing. You're going to go into a controlled environment where you've got gloves on, mouthpiece, headgear. Sure. Take BJJ and put me in between 2 parked cars where there's broken glass, pavement, asphalt, sand, and let's have our jackets on, and you can wear all your gear as a cop and go ahead and use your BJJ. And by the way, I'm also armed with a pocket knife. And it's the problem I have is they don't take into consideration any of the outside issues. And that's the issue. There's some people out there who are saying, yeah, exactly what you said. BJJ looks the most non-egregious for law enforcement. When you come down to the difficulty of it, I'll say this, and I've never been a part of it. Sure, take BJJ, take one of your most elite BJJ training classes. And I don't have a reference, so I'm asking you guys out there. Take a black belt BJJ class. Does it compare to an NCAA wrestling practice? Doesn't compare. Because as wrestlers, we were fucking savages who went through hell. And that was just on the high school and junior college level. So, yeah, and I went, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's like, I never did BJJ, but I wrestled and found Wing Chun at the beginning of my career, but I still got through my career just fine being a wrestler. So why is BJJ so essential? I don't understand.
No, it's not. I think it's a fad. And I remember when it was really hot about 5 years ago, I was the only one not going to BJJ. Now, granted, I did not take any other martial arts, which I know is bad, and I get that. But I just, it's the guy. I mean, people were waiting on the opportunity to utilize BJJ in uniform. And I remember, I mean, this is kind of a funny story, but, we had a dude resist arrest, and he was a stinky, dirty, smelly bum. And I remember watching my zone partner just do the thing, fucking full face in his shirt. When they were done, he had dirt all down his uniform because of how close he was into taking him into custody. And I remember thinking, like, man, this is the one time I would not want to use BJJ, is getting close to somebody like that. I mean, especially if, what's your thoughts on, like you said, a pocket knife? Are you going to want to get up close?
Paul Ingram. Paul Ingram is a friend of mine, and he's a Pakiti Tertia Kali expert. You could check out his YouTube channel. It's the Kali Center. Paul Ingram, to my knowledge, to this date, still has no Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Paul Ingram maybe weighs, I think he's got to be 160, 170 pounds, 5'9". He's not a big man, but he's not a small man. And I do Wing Chun, which is close space. If Paul's got a fucking knife, no way. Paul carries 2 spider code knives on him all the time. And you want to sit there and mount somebody, pull guard, whatever you call it, while you're on top of somebody or they're on whatever the case is, and they've got knives going to be ready to fillet the inside of your fucking rib cage. Go right ahead, man. Go. If I had to start over, I've said this a million times too. I think the tier for best to worst is any striking art is the bottom one, and that includes Wing Chun. But Wing Chun it's different. It's meant to get in close proximity. Wing Chun, boxing, anything that's got striking is the bottom. Then you go up another tier. Wrestling. I think wrestling is better above that. I think BJJ. I think BJJ is above that because they seem to be most effective post being taken out of the ground. At least with grappling, you start to where the contact is and you transition down to the ground. Then it's wrestling. Then it's Greco. Then, if I could start all over, if I could be 5 years old and my parents could afford it and put me into it, I would have done judo. I think law enforcement, anything else, judo is the superior, supreme, single best martial art on the planet when it comes to taking people into custody and control tactics. Judo, nothing better.
Do you think that BJJ, because it advanced so quickly in our society and became such like pop culture, do you think that the idea of martial arts and the discipline of being a martial artist, being the ego and the mentality, wasn't able to catch up with the people that learned it on Instagram? Because to me, I've never once seen somebody of another martial arts get in the comment section and criticize people like BJJ people. Never once.
It's Americans. You ever see those Chinese kids train? Even wushu. Wushu is a discipline. Wushu is more like, I would equate wushu to more of a dance than I would a martial arts. Jackie Chan formerly trained in wushu. So is Jet Li. It's not that it's not effective. You get hit by one of those punches, you're done. But those kids, their bodies are so fine fucking tuned and their disciplines are so fucking tuned. It's like, would you want to risk getting punched by one of those? There's a guy on YouTube who's got 1.5 million followers named Jesse N. Camp, and he's a karate practitioner. Karate, the pajamas, right? You couldn't pay me to stand in front of that motherfucker and take a kick or a punch because he's been training it his whole life. But so the discipline, and I think he's from overseas. He's not American. But the point being is, in America, we want everything immediate. I don't think we have discipline. I think that BJJ has turned into a tournament style. And it's not discredited because it's a great foundation, if you will, for the MMA crowd. But at the same time, too, I don't think a lot of people applying it have the mindset. I just don't. We're
checking out your Izzo Wing Chun YouTube channel right now.
Yeah, I've got one of the #1 Wing Chun channels on the planet, and I've been around for almost 15 years on YouTube. Yeah.
Man, I remember when you first told me about this channel, I had no idea. You do very good at branding and keeping everything separate, but
yeah, and I know how to fight.
What can you there's a couple people in the comments and myself included. Can you kind of just give a rundown of Wing Chun?
Wing Chun is fucked, and Wing Chun always was. And if the way that Wing Chun was described years ago to get people in was it's a simultaneous attack and defense art. And what they meant by that is instead of a 1-2 block, you had a 1 movement block. That was it. And the problem is where our hands, we are fucking fast. In a controlled scenario, in a demoed scenario, if you punch and leave that punch out, I can look like the biggest badass on the planet by hitting you 10 times in a second. And you'll be like, what the fuck was that? The problem is Wing Chun got so used to demos and showing that you leave and you left a punch out that Wing Chun, people who did it for years, didn't know what to do when that limb was no longer there. So Wing Chun people didn't know how to bridge the gap, didn't know how to take a punch or how to initiate because they were always looking to make contact with, we call this the bridge, the space between the wrist and the elbow. That's the bridge. And that's what all Wing Chun people focus on. And it's fucking shit because I can slap your wrist. I can tan your wrist. I can yun your wrist. I can bong your wrist, all this shit. But if it's not there, Wing Chun people are left standing with their dick in their hands looking like morons instead of just going in and punching. So the problem always is people don't understand that sometimes you got to take a fucking hit if you're going to be fighting somebody. If a boxer, professional boxer, and an amateur boxer box, that professional boxer is still going to get hit. That's how they talk. Wing Chun people don't like to admit that. Wing Chun people only train against other people who stick out a rigid punch, and that's it. So Wing Chun became so fucking watered down. It's like adult. It's almost like a more aggressive Tai Chi. Adults get to wind up partaking in it because there's safety in it. We have an exercise called Chi Sao, which is the equivalent to stand-up grappling, where we are linked. We start at a neutral space. Both of our hands are locked, and we do a roll, and then we go off into our stuff. And it's based off of sensitivity, reflex, attacking, and technique. And that being said, the problem has always been you train so much against Wing Chun people that you'll see Wing Chun people reach automatically for somebody else. The best example I can give you is you ever see those like YouTube or Instagram reels where like when a Bjj Gay guy sees you break into his house and then the guy sits on his ass and he scoots towards him. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. That's what Wing Chun people do, but we're standing up. So the problem is when you don't know how to bridge that gap, you're fucked. I've said this a million times. It happens all the time. People who go from Wing Chun with no grappling experience into a grappling art are like, oh my God, I wish I went into this sooner. Yeah. I came from a grappling art first.
Yeah.
And then went to Wing Chun. And I'm like, oh my God, these two live together. It's insane. Wing Chun people are afraid to get hit. They're afraid to close the distance. They don't know how to close the distance. And they do a bunch of static bullshit patty cake movement, which gets their asses kicked, which is why you see them standing like this in an MMA fight. And then the next thing you know, they're getting knocked the fuck out because they don't know what they're doing.
How long into Wing Chun did you realize that about the sport?
I was immediately and I got blessed because my first teacher, his son was a wrestler. So every time, like, it was the same thing. I went to a defensive tactics course, met my teacher, and I'm like, oh, he teaches Wing Chun. This is fucking bullshit. And he looked at me and said, take me down. And I couldn't. And it wasn't that he was doing some magical shit. It's just he knew that wrestling lives in a certain space, and based on it, it just becomes angles and it becomes body structure, and that's it. And that's why I have such an appreciation for Chinese martial arts is they don't apply with structure or with muscle or technique. They apply more on body mechanics. And I give people the example, like, I love to bench, I love to deadlift, and I love to squat. And it's all based on structure, not really muscle when you think about it. It's based on your spinal alignment being straight, and it's based on what you call a primary mover. Anybody who ever wants to know anything about fucking body structure. It's amazing. Go sit at your gym at a seated bench press and the machine, right? And where all the balance is taken out, and put your hands on the bar and push your normal amount of weight. And when you're doing it, most people will think it's called a primary driver in fitness, where their intent is in their hands and they're pushing their hands forward. And I tell people all the time, take it, your hand is making contact on the bar, put all your intent in your elbow, and your hand is out of play. You don't have a hand anymore because the hand is attached by your humerus and your radius, or your humerus, or what did I call this before? Radius and your ulna, by your elbow. And when you push forward, drive forward with your elbow. And people say, holy shit, why am I stronger? It's a closer point of contact to your core. It's the same thing as if I take a 5-pound plate, hold it out here, it's going to get tired really fast. But if I hold it here, I can hold it forever. It's just your elbow's closer. So when I started to realize, I'm strong, I always was strong. But now if I can incorporate body mechanics with it, holy shit, technique is last. So that's why I loved Wing Chun, because it was just, holy shit, I don't want to go to the ground anymore. Yeah, I like looking like fucking, you ever see The Raid Redemption? It's a movie about a bunch of, I think they're Korean cops, and they're an elite force that has to go up an apartment building floor by floor, and they just clear the fuck out. And it's C-Lot, and they just kick the fuck out of everyone going up. It is a brutal, probably the most brutal martial art movie I've ever seen. That's like Wing Chun. And when I saw that, I'm like, I want to be as good as that. I stuck with it because I did all the rolling around and shit. It wasn't for me anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I know wrestlers get the first thing, and it always killed me because I was never a martial artist. And whenever we did combatives in the Army, which is essentially just a modern Army combatives program when I was in, it's essentially like BJJ, but just kind of its own thing. And they'd be like, oh, yep, there's the wrestler giving him his back. And I'm like, well, these guys would be like division, wrestlers, and immediately they're just talked down to. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's a wrestler giving his back. Like, I mean, okay, like he's gonna mop the floor up with him, but he gave his back out of instinct. And it only takes, here's the thing about giving your back, it only takes one time before you're like, can't do that anymore.
I don't know. I don't like going to the ground anymore. Now it's all like anti-grappling. What do I do to prevent somebody from taking me down? And that's where Wing Chun fucking lives, and where Chi Sao just completely outshines the other arts, because if you can't close that distance, you can't take me down, and I don't have to go to my fucking back. I don't have to do it anymore. It was just for me. I'm 5'7", 235. Everything aches. I don't need to do BJJ. You could do BJJ all you fucking want. My shit works just fine for me. So I just never understood. My biggest point was, why is it BJJ is the only fucking art that out there loves to shit on everybody else? And it's simply because they do their shit in a controlled environment. I've never seen to date a BJJ guy go, okay, I'm going to go take on a karate guy, a Muay Thai guy, but we're going to be wearing steel toe boots. We're going to be out in a parking lot where there's a dumpster, there's some pylons, there's some fucking broken glass. Go ahead. Now do it. See if it's just as effective. I want to know if that works. But you never see that because it's their controlled environment.
You know what? It's funny that reminds me of like old school UFC, where it was just a Thunderdome of different martial artists, and you got to see one martial art completely fight another type of martial art. And BJJ, I don't think was. I know the Gracies were around there.
Gracie and Ken. It was Gracie and Ken Shamrock. Ken Shamrock did pretty damn good. He was a shoot fighter.
Yeah.
So it wasn't UFC either. It wasn't the Ultimate either, because they still had rules. No eye gouges, no biting. No, dude. I'm sorry. I'm at the point now. If you're gonna make some fucking movement, tie up my arm, sit on my face, I'm biting your cock off. Yeah. I will have a mouthful of your dick in order to win that fight. Edit that clip out.
Well, I mean, when I don't know. Like I said, I didn't do enough martial arts training in anything to really have a basic comparison, but I do know I have fought to win before most of the time. And I would like to think that there's a difference between fighting to win, and not to sound corny, but fighting to go home and fighting to survive a 5-minute roll.
Wing Chun has that same fucking problem where people are like, there's a guy that actually was Bruce Lee's training partner. Hawkins Chung, and he was a psycho. He was a fucking psycho, and he was a savage. And they made him take Tai Chi to calm himself down, to find balance. And Hawkins, a lot of people maybe remember the martial arts circuit, remember China Boxer on YouTube 10, 15 years ago. He was one of Hawkins' students. And Hawkins would say, Wing Chun, you face me and you're bigger than me. I'm picking up a brick and I'm smacking across your fucking head. That's Wing Chun. Like, yeah, I don't understand. That's how that is not. That's what the BJJ crowd doesn't think. They're not going, granted, 90%, I'll really say it, or 99%, because we always talk about that 1%er in law enforcement. I never came across that 1%er. That 1%er is going home. I don't care how skilled you are, right? And it's our job to be the 1%er, but cops don't train. And they sure as shit don't have the survival mindset or some of those fucking psychotic 1%ers. But if 99% of the people are going to be taken into custody based off of just wrist locks, throw them into the ground, all this shit, then yeah, your BJJ is going to work. And it's going to work for anybody. But if that's the case, then pretty much almost anything can work. Once again, my statement to them was simply based off of, why are you shitting on somebody else? Because they saw me doing the wooden dummy. Oh, the wooden dummy, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's like shitting on a boxer for hitting a speed bag.
Was this the video?
Yeah, that was the video. Yeah.
We won't play any sound, but I mean, when I saw this, took me a minute to find it because it was pinned. So I never look when people talk about a recent post. I never look at the pin because they're usually older ones. So I'm scrolling through your Instagram like, where the fuck is this video? But I look at this, and it's obviously a compilation of, I can just tell, different ages, especially the old VHS looking video of you wrestling.
Yeah, that was 1992.
But I look at this and it makes me laugh because I'm like, you know what? It's a real thing. It's tiny arm people that are upset that a dude that looks the part is also doing the part. And I think there's a huge difference because, like I said before earlier, I was a big advocate of do something. Lift weights, get tattoos, look tough, because you're going to eliminate 9 out of 10 altercations when you look the part. That 10th guy won't care. And that's when you're going to have to go, okay, I got to do something. But, when you look the part and then you are the part, I think that pisses a lot of people off.
Of course it does. I get shit on, oh, you're short, you're this, that. Motherfucker, right now, the only thing that people have going for me, how they can win a fight for me, is my cardio. If you can go 15 seconds with me, you're pretty much guaranteed to win because I'm that cardiovascular, a lot of shape. But guy, if I ever got that cardio, you're fucked. I have a massive ego with my ability. I will fuck you up. It's that simple, and I really don't give a shit. But a lot of people, Izzo, you step on the mat with me. But you don't understand. Fine, here's the deal. I'll step on the mat with you. But since I don't know your art and I'm not there to fucking learn it, I'm going to do what I can to win. Make sure all your brethren around there don't jump in afterwards. So when I am biting you, when I am fucking oil checking you, when I'm grabbing your carotid, fucking thumbing right in your fucking, right in that nerve that runs, when I fucking elbow, dude, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. So I don't disrespect your art. Don't shit on me for the 40 fucking years I've put into fighting.
And that's what I'm saying, man. I've always respected, not always, that's not the reason why, but I've always really respected the martial art in the sense that if you compare it to a sport, the discipline of a real martial artist has no ego. They'll have egos in other things, right? Like let's say you, for example, as a martial artist, you have an ego and probably most of the things you do.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the actual art that you take pride in, I guarantee you there's just an instilled discipline in there. Like, I don't even know who this guy is.
had to fall in love with it. I mean, I literally, it was a betrayal when I started taking Wing Chun because I'm like, I love wrestling. Wrestling was my life. I wasn't bad. I wasn't an elite wrestler. I think I finished 39-13 as my last record. So, I mean, I was good, but I wasn't elite. I was nowhere near college good. But when I started doing Wing Chun, I'm like, ooh, I'm leaving behind my wrestling. And I had to go total immersion. And back then it was really before YouTube. So I had to, every book on the planet I bought, I still have notes. I have my class notes where I would go to class, come home and write down all the notes I had. It was a discipline. I tell people I spent nearly in tuition, travel, parking alone, $30,000 in tuition since 1996 and 2000, probably 8.
Wow.
So it's like fucking okay.
Smart.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? I keep forgetting to ask you. You ever seen the cops that wear the fucking dagger in their vest that you can pull out with a finger?
I used to Tim Mitzvin taught me this one. We used to have the pen, right here.
Yeah.
And you used to have it so on our vest, I would wear an outside vest carrier cover, and the pocket had the Velcro rip up, but it also had the poke for the pen.
Yep.
Tim was the one who did it. Tim came up and he said, "Hey, what's going on?" Slapped me on the chest with one hand, had that pen out, and goes to stab me right in my eye. He goes, no. So Tim taught me, lift up the flap, put it in there, put the flap over the pen.
Yeah.
So with that knife, same fucking thing. What do you have that there for? And it looks like shit. It looks really bad.
Well, first off, every time I saw that knife on a new kid, I'd go, "Hey, what class did you go to?" Because I want to know what taught that kid to wear that knife. Second, I'm like, I'm telling you right now, most human beings in the world are not going to be able to gather the mental strength to stab a human being in an
nope.
You
can't do it. Again, I'll talk about Paul Ingram. Paul Ingram, Cowley Center. I'll plug him. He is probably, in my opinion, he's the leading knife expert out there, and I'll give him credit for that. I've known him for years. Paul talked about one of the training tools I think they did is they would have meat or pigs, if you will, the cadavers, and they would stab them, and you would see A, how difficult it is mentally to do it, and B, when you're going through that motion doing it, the suction after a while, like the blood and the viscosity and all that stuff, the suction of how difficult it is to pull the knife out to a degree because of all that, and how your hand's going to be slipping on it. No, you can't. And what did Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman wrote about it in On Killing, where you have the distance, right? You got the guys who push the nuclear button, they can kill, but the closer and closer and closer you get to somebody proximity wise, going up to your bare hands gets increasingly harder to kill. That's why when you see these people stab somebody 40 times, they're not home. They're not in their right mind.
They're not right.
No.
It's not something's not wired right upstairs.
Oh, that's fucked. No, I don't like that look. I don't like. I saw the one guy who had like the Abe Lincoln beard. It was white like mine. He's got the Punisher logo. And he's on a traffic stop. I am the supervisor, and he's got that fucking. He doesn't have a small one. He's got a knife right here. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? It's like I carried two. I carried one in my pocket, my left pocket, and then I had a drop holster on my right leg, and I had a knife in there too. So, but people couldn't see them. So
yes, that's what I'm saying. If God forbid, somebody gets the best of you, and they're sitting right on top of your waist, and they look down and they go, "Ooh, I'll take that." Now you're fighting to keep your weapon, which I know we all have weapons on us, but there's always really good retention plans, especially holsters with 3-level retention. You have your knives in strategic locations that you know where they are, but they're not seen. But you're just, I don't know. I don't want to sound like a square.
No, you're not. Knife is more dangerous than a gun any day of the week and twice on Sunday. Gun fires in one direction. That's it. Knife can cut you from fucking anywhere. No, knives are way more fucking dangerous than guns.
Yeah. And I don't know of, again, lots of other martial arts train with weapons, right?
Yeah.
There's weapon implementation in most martial arts, except I don't know of any in BJJ.
The theory is when you train with a weapon, you're learning yourself better, right? So in order to, like in Wing Chun, we have a 9.5 foot pole. It's like, who the fuck? Nobody ever, you're never going to sit up there with a literal 9.5 foot pole and attack somebody. But what they was with the red boats, the junk boats, that's what they used to like the gondolins in Italy. That's what they're pushing through the water with those poles. You train with them because you're holding it at the very end of it. And if you hold even a PVC pipe, if you hold a 6 foot PVC pipe at the end, that fucking thing gets heavy because of the leverage where you're holding it. You hold it in the middle, you're fine. Well, the training concept is if you can manipulate, move around, strike with power and precision. With this tool, your body becomes more in tool. We use butterfly knives in Wing Chun. They're only about 18 inches long. And it's like, well, you're not going to really tax, and they're for chopping, they're not for cutting. But the concept is, again, if you can manipulate those around easier, you then become a better fighter for yourself. Yeah, they don't know what the weapons they use in BJJ.
No, they have their Instagram page. That's the weapon.
Yeah, they're great. Some of them are great. Like, I like watching Gordon. What's his last name? Oh man. I noticed him when he dyed his hair white and whatever. That guy's a fucking stud. And some of these guys who are on the elite level of BJJ, they're fucking studs. It's like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan was an elite level taekwondo fighter, tournaments, all this stuff. He found BJJ, fell in love with BJJ. Awesome, because he was able to see the flaws in taekwondo. But have you ever seen Joe Rogan kick a heavy bag?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. So my question is, would you want all the BJJ in the world? You walk up to Joe Rogan and he fucking does a spinning kick right into your torso. You think you're going to be standing?
Well, BJJ also, now there's different techniques that come from BJJ, but on traditional BJJ, again, I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, I will eat crow, but I do not see a lot of fighting multiple people in BJJ. It's very competitive. It's very competition based, to the point where the clothing you wear is judged on what type of BJJ guy you are.
Yeah. The ultimate thing. Yeah. Have you ever been in a legitimate street fight or bar fight?
I don't think so. Well, I mean, yeah, but not. Oh, you're talking like outside of law enforcement?
Yeah, never not law enforcement. Outside. They are horrible. I worked at a 4 a.m. bar before I became a cop, and got punched in the face. We had brawls all the time. They suck. When you get legitimately full fist punched in the face, you're like, what the fuck just happened? Literally, it jars you for a second.
Yeah.
And then you're so focused, you're laser focused on one person that you don't see the other people around him, right? It's like Scotty, the guy in Vegas. I would have gotten probably killed if it wasn't for a man named Scotty McKinley in 1998. We're out of bar fight brawling. I'm looking at one guy. I didn't see the guy running at me full fucking charge that was going to put me into the brick side of the club. And that would have been head injury, trauma through the glass. Scotty cut him in half, taking him down. So it's like, no, people have no clue what a real fight is, how horrible it is, whether or not you have true backup, because when you're a cop, you still have backup, your brothers and sisters. You still have that illusion of got tools. I could do this. Cops do not know how to truly fight. They don't. And they don't have the mindset for it.
And I think BJJ is, and again, the whole premise of this episode is no one's shitting on BJJ. It's just
shitting on everyone else.
Yes. And I do think that you should train for the ground, because I think human instinct, especially mine, with no formal upright training, I felt most comfortable on the ground. So I would find myself in any altercation doing the old leg trip. We're going down, and then we're going to figure it out on the ground, because that's where I'm most comfortable. There's
a reason for that. The way to win a fight is to take somebody's balance. Well, when you're on the ground, you don't have a balance issue. When you're standing on your 2 feet, this is why I don't kick. I don't teach kicks in Wing Chun. It's a table leg. When you're standing on 2 feet and you're fighting somebody on an uneven environment, pavement, gravel, grass, whatever it is, when you pick up one leg to kick, there goes your other leg for balance. So when you make contact with somebody, now all of a sudden you have more balance because you're holding on to them. That's why you see guys grab all the time in fights. That's why you don't see a lot of punching. You'll see grabbing. And well, I'll take that back. Blacks and Hispanics love the punch. Whites will grab.
Yeah, that's true.
Whites always grab wrists and shit, whatever. So when you're grabbing somebody, now your balance is compensated by that other person because it's pressure, right? The same concept of when you want to mount a 100-pound painting into a wall, you don't put it into a nail, you put it into one of those hooks that's kind of like into the wall and pointed up because the weight gets just distributed back into the wall. So when you're grabbing onto somebody else, you're in another person. Well, when you go down to the ground, you don't have to worry about balance at all. That's why it's fucking easier. You eliminated the biggest, riskiest part of fighting, balance.
And I think, to be honest with you, if you're going to pick a martial arts, right? Let's just say I've listened to a lot of Dominick Izzo. I've listened to a lot of Copville. I need to pick something just to go do a couple times a week to say, if I get my ass beat, I was trying, right? At the end of the day, are you going to pick something that's demonized by, because here's the thing with police work. If you guys aren't cops, I'm sure most of the people watching are cops, but I know there's a couple in there that aren't. There's nothing in most policies saying you can't strike. I don't know of any policies that have been brought to my attention from decades ago that say we've changed it and now we are not allowing you to strike. However, it is very frowned upon, because when you go into your captain's office and he plays you a video and you go, yeah, so, and he's going to go, it's the optics, Tyler. It's the optics. And you're like, but I was within policy. I know we're going to have issues, though. I'm just letting you know, forewarning. Now go out there and handle your calls and go risk doing this again. But I'm just going to let you know, I want it in the forefront of your mind. This is going to be a problem when we're going to hear about it. And then you're probably going to get disciplined. And I'll go, for what? And they're like, it's the optics. I'm like, so if you're going to learn a martial art, I think typically a lot of guys, in my mindset, if I was to go learn one, I'm not going to learn one that is frowned upon by society, by admin, is striking, because you're right. If you can stay on 2 feet and be the dominant aggressor you're I think you're good there, but it's never going to look good if, all right, you're not going into custody. Oh, you just broke away from me. All right, here we go. Here we go. And then
people don't know how to strike either. That's the problem. People do not know how to apply the right pressure. You see it all the time. Cops, one of the biggest things we talked about Wing Chun was, I could hit you 20 times in 1 second, but people are still going to be standing. You see it all the time. Look at all the time. You see these urban street fight videos. Guys are bare knuckle punching people in the face, and they're still standing up. They're still standing up. So now you got cops who are hitting somebody 5-6 times in the torso, in the head, and it's doing nothing. It's like, so what are you fucking doing it for? Striking has a time and a place, but not a lot of times not in law enforcement. It's just, again, it's cops don't know how to fight. Because if you did, you'd know, all right, I'm going to place my strike at this place. I'm not going to hit him who's hitting somebody on the side. What's that going to do? I watched that fucking video yesterday. Well, I think it was in New York, where the guy was biting the cop's pant leg and the cop's hitting 5 times. I was like, he's hitting him he should be hitting him. He's biting his leg. Let me post it? Well, yeah, a lot of people posted it. Sal Greco posted it. Well, and he was getting shit for it. This black guy's in handcuffs. He's clearly like, homeless or whatever. But you see, the guy's got a teeth full of the cop's pant leg. Yeah, right here. So you just watch the beginning of this. So here's my question. All right, pause right there.
He's like a dog.
Yeah, pause right there.
Okay.
Okay. Go back. Yeah, you got to refresh it. I have a legitimate question to ask. We can pause in 3, 2, and 1 right there. Do you see that mouthful of teeth?
Yeah.
Teeth full of pant leg, right? What do you think would be a more easier, gooder tactic? Punching him 5 times in the rib, or standing up and walking backwards because his teeth can't hold on as much as your leg can pull back with force?
Or his teeth are going to come out, one of the two.
So it's like, you're punching him for what? Just fucking walk backwards. It would have ended it immediately. But the optics look bad. And what are you doing? It's dumb.
And one of the things, we've all grew up as kids in the 80s, late 80s, but 80s. And I will say this, we've all most likely have been subject to a group of kids that want to beat your ass. And if you've ever tried to get away from a group of people that are trying to beat your ass, you don't feel anything. And so anyone that is resisting on any level like this, they are in another place mentally, and or possibly high on narcotics. And like you said, punching someone, you have to punch someone strategically in the same spot multiple times for it to start impacting their ability to fight back.
Yep.
And you have to be physically conditioned to do that bout and also fight back and continuously injure that person to the point where, like I said, they're not capable of fighting back. You're never gonna. It's like, because I think people watch the movies, dude. I think people see a 1-round knockout.
Nope.
And they're like, oh, that, and it just doesn't happen. I'm sure people get lucky.
Well, how you get no leverage, right? Because everything, it's like a squat. You can't squat with 405 pounds on your back if you're leaning forward. Your spine has to be straight. So you can't deliver power into another human being if you're hunched over on top of them and you've got no proper alignment. The best use of force video I have ever fucking seen. I think it was a Vegas Metro cop, and it was very recent. They're outside of some bar. Something happens. And this cop, I swear to God, he needs to be teaching in the academy. I did a video on it a while ago. I'd have to find the video. The cop was doing, I wanted to cry. It was such an amazing, the best use of force video ever seen in my entire life. He's doing crowd control, and he's watching two of his partners. I think they were Vegas Metro because they were wearing the tan brownish uniforms. They're struggling with this person to get him in handcuffs. The cop's looking. He's looking. He's not pigpiling. He's assessing. And he's so aware because he's paying attention to the crowd. He sees they're struggling. After a few seconds, he moves, goes to the tip where this guy's head is at, puts his hands on this guy's fucking melon, kicks his own legs out. So now he's up on his toes, and that triangle pressure goes right to this guy's head. The guy's head is being forced into the ground, and he just completely submits because his head is being smashed into the fucking ground with this cop's body weight. No striking, nothing looked bad. Immediately submitted, guy went in handcuffs. I went, this needs to be taught in every fucking academy in the world. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And that just, again, BJJ, the old joke is hit the ground, come at me, bro. Mount me, bro.
I don't get to, I just don't get it. I'm not shitting on their art. I'm shitting on their attitudes, and it fucking sucks. You get somebody who's training. It's like, I wouldn't want to be hit. There's a man out here named John DePasquale, and he's got to be 70. If I'm 51, he's got to be 70. And he's been teaching Shotokan karate for 50 fucking years. Plus, more than that. I mean, maybe 60 years. You think I want to take a hit from him?
No.
It's like, dear God, it's repetition. It's perfect. Bruce Lee said it, and I'm not a Bruce Lee fan. I actually can't stand Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee said it. I don't fear the man who practices 10,000 techniques once. I practice the man who practices one technique 1,000 times or 10,000 times.
Yeah. Now, while we wrap this up, I want to ask you some basic martial arts questions.
Yeah.
Being able to punch through something, is that all in your head, or do you have to train your physical body to punch through like large pieces of wood that the average person probably couldn't punch through? Like Bruce Lee punching a wooden pole like a million times.
It's alignment. The inch punch, which Bruce Lee taught, that's from Wing Chun, and it's literally just learning how to transfer energy up from the ground through your fist. The concept is two objects can't occupy the same space at the same time. So if I'm standing in front of you and I want you out of that space, the easiest thing for me to do is to walk into you and push you with all my mass out of the way. Well, in a fight, you got to force it up. So I got to gain some distance, and now I got 2.5 feet in front of me that I got to use. So I got to learn how to put all 235 pounds amplified through my fist. So it's just an amplification of that.
Oh, okay.
I found that video that
you got it.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to your sucker free.
Oh no, send it to Anti-Hero.
Oh, okay, yeah. Everybody needs to pay attention to watch Anti-Hero Monday through Friday at what time?
11 a.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, you guys can. I just sent it to you. This is the greatest Las Vegas. This is the greatest fucking use of force I have ever seen in my life. Unbelievable. This had me just like moved.
I think it went.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, it kicks off with you. Okay.
Is it me? You that one?
No. Fucking ruin your career, and it'll get people hurt. I don't know. Some of you love to hurt people, but it's not your fucking job. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. The times you can't take somebody to custody, they made you run, you're all pissed off, none of your techniques are working, so you start raining down bombs that just do fucking shit, they're ineffective, and it makes you look bad. Or the times when you're so frustrated because your command staff doesn't let you do shit, the media hates you, all this kind of crap. You're in an overpopulated city and there's 20,000 of you in one area, and all of a sudden one guy needs to be taken into custody and the fucking pig pile melee ensues. And just for some strange reason, common sense doesn't want to show up on scene. And we think as cops, this is what the fucking job is. Well, you just don't understand. No, yeah.
What'd you say?
At Chicago, they're the real police. Yeah, let's look at all that fucking backup. Okay.
That's like 30 dudes.
Yeah, on one guy. On one fucking guy.
You're all trying to fuck. That being said, watch this.
It's amazing.
Las Vegas cops acting crazy.
This guy's a fucking stud. This is the right way to back people up, too. You watch and wait. Look at this. Boom! Look at that fucking tactic.
People freaking out.
That is the greatest technique I have ever fucking seen for law enforcement. That cop, I'm going to tell you, I wish to God I knew who that was. If anybody knows who that is, pass him along my information so I could praise him even more. He did such an incredible fucking job doing crowd control, not having to get a lick in. He completely controlled himself. He's clearly amped up because the crowd is getting under his skin. He didn't take it out on anybody, but what does he do? He does the fucking best tactic in the world without punishing that guy, did the job, got right back going into crowd control. This fucking cop, my God, we need to clone him.
Yeah, and that was very controlled. And it didn't look bad. Even though those women were screaming, it didn't look bad.
Look at that. He puts all that. Where's that? That guy's like, I am fucked. I am fucked.
And he gets up. He's not breathing hard.
Nope.
He went back to talking to the females.
Yeah, whoever that cop is, man, that guy deserves a fucking medal and a pay raise.
Real quick, while we got 4 minutes, I wanted to look at, so obviously we have all been talking about the Boston police officer, and it is really weird that they haven't released the body-worn camera. I don't know. That just doesn't make sense to me. I guess the state is allowed to not release it. And to give a real breakdown and a real fair assessment in today's world, we have to have body-worn camera. That being said, I understand the hesitancy to jump in and to give an opinion without knowing something that's inevitably going to come out, right? So if this was 1990 and there was no body cam, boom, we give our opinion on it. Motherfucker shouldn't have drove, shot him, he's dead, let's go. But now we know there's something huge coming out that is body-worn camera that's going to kind of push it one way or the other. So do you remember did you see when it first came out like 2 days ago, the Reacher star, Alan Richardson?
I'm on his side. I'm on his side.
And we were like, oh, roid rage. He's a fucking Neanderthal. He's out there thinking he's Hollywood. And then his helmet cam comes out for whatever reason 2 days later, which, I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist at heart. So I do believe they were like, hold on, let's let this run its course in the news and then make you the good guy. But here is the Alan Richardson. Here is his body worn or helmet.
On Sunday, we rode past once, twice, and on the second time, I walked out in front of him, and it escalated quite quickly from there.
What? You threatened my safety, bro. Are you kidding me? Move, dude. No.
I did push him because he was coming towards me on his bike. I pushed him a second time. The second time he got off his bike and kicked the crap out of me.
Stay down.
ET obtained this new footage showing Alan's angle of the altercation and the part his neighbor Ronnie left out to TMZ.
Are you kidding me?
When he taunts the star in front of his two sons. Around 30 seconds later, Alan throws the first of at least 4 punches.
You can see he hit me in the back of my head. I went to the ground and covered myself.
As for what was said next,
Stupid.
the Brentwood Police Department tells ET no charges will be filed and Alan was acting in self-defense. A source tells ET, quote, Alan did not instigate the fight. He was just enjoying a bike ride with his kids.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I just think that's.
I love that. This is where it's like I have 2 frames of mind. I believe the police should always act in self-control. It's not their job to punish the citizens. That's always my thing. I believe citizens punishing other citizens, do it more. Do it fucking more. I love that. I wish Rick would have sat there, grabbed that motherfucking limey by the back of the head and made him eat grass. Eat this grass, motherfucker. I wish he would have done
the white dog poop.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lick it. Fucking lick it. Yes. That's what people don't get. I think that cops, consider the fact we know they're always going to win. I don't like cops using force unnecessarily. Other citizens on other citizens, motherfucker. 100%, dude. 100%.
You're not held to that standard. You don't have that badge. You don't have all the resources. You don't have the like you said, the expectation we're winning, whether it be in court, most likely going to be right here on the street. Even if it takes 20 people jumping on you, we are winning. So we need to utilize the least amount, but it's one-on-one, citizen on citizen.
Tune him. You want to be that stupid? It's a bike too. If somebody did that, it's like I ride with me on my bike. It's over 1,000 pounds, and it's like I can't imagine somebody stepping out in front of me. The slower you go, trying to stop actually sucks sometimes. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine. And if my fucking bike went down, I'd fuck somebody up. Yeah, no. All right. I'm on Team Allen. Jack.
So that's why you got to wait till everything comes out to make your
Yeah, I think that they're not releasing that body camera footage because either it's gonna shatter their whole narrative or it's going to really amplify it. So I don't know. And to be honest, at this point, if we're in the stage of the game where we know people have policies, don't shoot against a moving vehicle, all this shit, there had to have been, if the charges are valid, then he had to do something like, I don't know. He goes to ram a cop, hits another one, and then 5 seconds goes by and he's in the clear and he's moving away and he's no longer a real threat and he shoots, then I could see, okay, might be charges. But if not, then I think they just overcharged and are waiting to see whatever.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining Hot Topic with Tyler and Dominic. Mike will be back Monday. He will be back to host his own show on Wednesday.
He's out on those carnival cruises with all those blacks going crazy.
No, he assured us it was not. In fact, quick Mike story. Mike watched it. He texted me last night and goes, bro, he's like, I'm watching a dude bet $46,000 on the table right now. And he's like, he's biting his wallet. Over the night, the guy went suicidal. They had to put him in the tank and then they kicked him off the boat in Mexico.
I bet you he was wishing he was on a cruise of cocoa butter and weed.
All right, guys. Tune in tomorrow. Anti-Hero broadcast, 11 a.m. And what day is today? Wednesday? Thursday? Yeah, it's tomorrow morning, Thursday a.m. See you guys in.